Alrighty, welcome to 2013. Yay, awesome. I want to talk a little bit about what it means now that we're in 2013. If you're listening to this video, I hope that you've had an opportunity to check out my 2012 video. It gives a lot of information on the energy shifts that have taken place. It's also, according to some, a bit controversial. Who knows? But I want to just update a little bit on the energy that we have experienced up to this point. Remember when 99 rolled over into 2000 and it was actually so many people were thinking it was the end of everything. All the computers were going to collapse. Everybody was buying food and water from the stores. And then 12/12 to 12/21, one of those days was 2012, was supposed to be the end of everything. So I want to give to you a little, get you out of the woo-woo and give you the practicalities of this incredible, magical spiritual energy. How to use it to our advantage and how we move forward in 2013. So 99 rolled over into 2000. The feminine creative energy started to rise. This was an energy of integrity, an energy of being in the moment, an energy of intuition, and an energy of going with the flow. Those four things, many, many other things, but those four things I would like you to remember. Also, as we moved into this energy, more and more people embraced it. So it actually rose much more quickly. The frequency got higher much more quickly than many of us anticipated. Some people took it personally when I was talking about this in 2012, my 2012 video, and as a women versus men or men versus women issue, and it's actually not that. I think I repeated that many times. It's not that. It's not a men versus women. It is a yin and yang balance that we're trying to get on the planet. It is a balance of energy that we're moving towards. So with that in mind, let's move up then. We know between 2000 and 2008 that the energy rose quite a bit. And 2008 was the year of the collapse of the financial institutions, which affected us, all of us, in a huge, huge way. But I want to take you a step back first. If you go to the 80s into the 90s, there was this energy where we had all these wonderful spiritual authors, Louise Hay, Doreen Virtue, Wayne Dyer, and then into the 2000s we had the book The Secret. I mean, the law of attraction was sold all around the world. So we had this spiritual foundation to work with, and we had been learning this. But as many people understand, it's a lot easier to be spiritual when everything's going great and your bank account is full. So when 2008 happened, and it had to happen. Now remember the things I told you about the feminine creative energy. It rose up. He hit this crescendo in 2008. The financial situation had to collapse. Absolutely had to. It was a false economy. And everything about the feminine creative energy that we were talking about, this higher frequency, was about integrity, and we were out of integrity. We were out of integrity with ourselves. The economy was out of integrity. There was so much falsehood about it. It was an empty bubble. It burst. So when 2008, when that collapsed, so many people, not everybody, so many people, when this happened, collapsed with it. If we go with my example of the frequency levels as rungs on a ladder, like this, and you have the higher frequencies up here and the lower frequencies down here, it doesn't mean that one person is better than the other. It's just at an enlightenment stage. And we look at that ladder, and in 2008, when the financial institutions collapsed, so did people. They took a collapse, and they took their book, The Secret. They took everything they had learned over the last 20 years and then threw it in the trash and said, this stuff doesn't work. It had to happen. And so many people were devastated by this. I don't think there was a person around the planet that wasn't affected in some form or another. 2008 took away our money and our stuff. And when you take away people's money and their stuff, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So, the ladder, people on these different rungs of the ladder, they collapsed. A few of us were still up here. And so that took us into 2009. 2009, I asked people, you probably don't remember 2009 because nothing happened in 2009. Because nothing could happen because all these rungs of the ladder were empty. People were shell-shocked. They were in survival mode. They were in first chakra issues, if you're familiar with chakras, energy centers in the body. First chakra, base chakra, is all about survival. People were in survival mode. And nothing could happen because many of them were frozen. You couldn't move forward. 2010 took us into second chakra issues, which was creativity. How do I move forward, okay, in this new paradigm? How do I make a living? How do I live? How do I survive with less credit, less money, less stuff, okay? And starting to get their, hopefully, spirituality back. 2011, we move up into the solar plexus chakra, which is your center of self-esteem. That is the I deserve more. So think back to 2011, and that was the time of the Arab Spring. What happened in 2011 at the Arab Spring? 18 to 30-year-olds, there's our indigo children, rose up, and they said, I deserve more. Leaders that had been in power for years were taken out. There's still a struggle in that area now in regards to that, but it was the I deserve more energy that moved people forward. And in the United States, Occupy. Well, we all remember the Occupy movement. It's still out there, evidently, but it started in 2011. What was that about? Once again, the young people. And it was all about I deserve more. 2011 was all about I deserve more. There is your solar plexus chakra issues. And they were right. We were right. We do deserve more. And that also, that energy needed to happen also. So that was the year, okay, 2011, where you may have come up with that same thought, I deserve more. Whether you were in a relationship that wasn't working, or whether you were at a job that you didn't like, whether you were living someplace that you hadn't been happy with, that energy, that rising feminine creative, that in your face, in the moment, going with the flow, intuition, was all pushing you for the I deserve more. 2012, the year we just finished, and we're moving up, heart chakra issues. 2012 was huge, heart chakra issues. And if we look at what that really means, let's look at it as in the way of a group consciousness. We were given an opportunity to decide through the election whether we were going to take care of our own or kick them to the curb. Those who were sick or disabled or old or young and needed help. And it was this year, 2012, where we had an opportunity to take a look at that. If you look at Europe, they had chosen austerity measures. This is the decision that we made in the United States. Some of you may agree with it, some of you may like it, some of you may not. It won't be the first time somebody's gotten upset at me. But the facts are this: the energy in Europe was in austerity measures. And that's kicking people to the curb, cutting back on everything. That's a huge karmic debt huge karma involved with that, that you don't take care of your own, that you let people go homeless, that you won't help the sick or the poor. And they're dealing with that now. The austerity issues have not worked. Jesus and the other wonderful prophets told us we must take care of the least among us. We must take care of the least among us. And that's what they chose not to do in Europe. So they're going to have to work with that energy now and either shift that or face the karmic debt that's put out with that. Anyways, this is the end of part 1, and we got part 2 coming up.